you're interested in easily turning the millions and billions of probiotics that you buy at the store into potentially trillions, stick around and find out how. Hello everyone, I'm Anthony the Eclectic Chef. Welcome back to my kitchen today. Well, you can't hardly go on the internet anywhere these days without running into influencers or posters talking about gut health. So today I'm going to show you how to culture your own thick, creamy yogurt or kefir from a commercial kefir. This will leave us with 12 different strains of healthy bacteria, but also not the billions that it says on the label, but possibly trillions of healthy bacteria to help support your gut health. Stick around and find out how. Here's the yogurt maker we're going to be using today. It's Sutek brand, which I purchased from Amazon, and it was under $40. Now, it has this covering lid, which we can take off. Then you've got two 1-quart glass bowls inside. They each have a protective cover too. There are versions of this that have 6 or 8 individual cups, but I prefer to make my yogurt in larger batches and then deal with it afterwards. This has adjustable time and temperature, which you adjust down here, and I've only owned it for about a month, but so far I'm quite pleased with it. Today we're going to culture using Lifeway Kefir. Has lots and lots of probiotic cultures, 12 in fact. We will be fermenting this, if that's the correct term, for 36 hours, feeding the culture with some inulin in the hope of really packing kefir, I suppose this will be, with as many functional bacterial units as we can. Now, I'm also using organic milk. I figure if I go to all this trouble, I might as well make sure I'm using the best milk I can. Now, this is Safeway's brand. It's cheaper at Trader Joe's, more expensive at Walmart, by the way, one of those rare occasions. I use Safeway basically for convenience, because you'll see this says ultra pasteurized, which means it's been really heated, so I don't have to boil the milk to break down all the protein and casein bonds to get a nice thick yogurt. Were I to use Trader Joe's for a couple of bucks a gallon saving, I would have to boil it first, and that's a bit more work than I want to do. So you might want to look out for ultra pasteurized if you want to use organic. That saves you a step. So first things first, 4 tablespoons of Lifeway per dish. Then we'll add the milk. And that's as hard as just pouring the milk from the carton to fill up the 1-quart bowls. Next, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of fructosaccharides and 2 tablespoons of inulin to each bowl. We'll whisk these up. These 2 are insoluble fibers that will help feed the bacteria towards the end of the fermentation, ensuring they don't run out of food. So we'll set temperature and time. Temperature's 108, which is where I want it. Now we'll crank this up to 36 hours. There we go. Start, 2 solid lights, and we'll come back in a day and a half to some beautiful, thick, tasty and healthful kefir. See you then. You may well ask, well, why 36 hours? Well, I'm very influenced by this book by Dr. William Davis, Supergut. In it, he'll tell us, and you can find it on page 149 if you have a copy, that bacteria basically double in numbers every hour. But most importantly, there's very little increase in bacterial numbers during the first 30 hours of fermentation. There is explosive growth in bacterial numbers starting at hour 30, with the greatest increase from 30 to 36 hours. This is why, by the way, we add inulin and phos to our culture to help feed these healthy and beneficial bacteria as their numbers explode. Now, going past 36 hours is not an additive game. So many die off as well as grow, we're not really adding to our culture. But 36 hours really does appear to be a sweet spot. At a point of interest, the yogurt maker sits next to my Instant Pot on the counter, which I bought during the pandemic to make kefir, go figure. I could do this in the Instant Pot. In fact, you could do up to a gallon in the Instant Pot. The yogurt setting actually will allow you to adjust the temperature to the optimum for the bacteria you're trying to culture. But it's going to tie the Instant Pot up for 36 hours, which I really don't want to do. So that's why we're using the yogurt maker. That's just for you to know. If you have an Instant Pot and don't mind tying it up for a while, you can skip purchasing a Sutek. A fair question is, how accurate is the temperature setting on this yogurt maker? So we'll check. We got it set at 108 and it's reading at 107.6. 108.3. So we're about in the ballpark. I'd call that close enough for government work, folks. How about you? 9 hours to go on this yogurt. Looking good. I did take a peek at one of the lids and I'm excited to have this finish. Well, 36 and a few hours later, this is what we have. Some beautiful, thick kefir, cultured from our Lifeway kefir. And typically, we pop our finished kefir into a Greek yogurt maker to strain out some of the whey, which we actually reserve for helping with other cultures and ferments. Also gives us a slightly thicker kefir when we put our puddings together. Next, we're going to make a slurry of these beautiful berries, which are thawed cranberries and blueberries. Frozen berries really do work best for us because they don't lose any of their vitamins and all the other good stuff. These work to feed the bacteria in our gut while also giving us great antioxidant protection. So we're going to pop these in the Ninja blender, reduce them to a slurry, and then we'll start mixing our puddings. We'll have a video on this Ninja blender and food processor fairly soon. Not sponsored, I purchased this at Costco with my own money. 50 seconds later, we're all done. We use these 1 cup mason jars to put up our kefir puddings with the blended berry puree. These each have 3 tablespoons of the berry puree. Next, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. So now we've added 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. These give great sort of gelling effect and soluble fibre, also to help feed our good probiotics. They also bring, in addition to fibre, quite a decent slug of omega-3s. Now, if you want to add additional good fats to this, you might think about adding some hemp seeds or broken up walnuts. The one thing I will say is if you have a lot of dental work, you might want to pass on these chia seeds. They're devils for getting stuck in your teeth in dental work. So here are our little 1-cup mason jars filled up to the top now with our kefir cultured with Lifeway kefir, which gives us 12 probiotic strains. Very healthy and good for our gut. Let's get the tops on these and then we'll close out with our 3 stool legs of gut health. So in closing, let's discuss my daily triumvirate for good gut health. Here's our kefir pudding. 12 strains. We're actually going to show you a super culture in the coming weeks that gets that up to 20 strains of probiotics. 1 a day. Beet kvass, which we've cultured from whey that we strained out from previous yogurt or kefir batches. I'll put a link to my previous video on making your own beet kvass in the description. And finally, we have a glass of live kombucha a day. In the summer, I use Costco's brand. And trust me, folks, it is live, because we lost several bottles that we'd had stored in the pantry that got a bit warm. Anyway, I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. And try to work on culturing things to build good gut health. Your body, your gut, and you will thank me for it.